A gravely injured man frantically flees in terror from a shadowy figure relentlessly chasing him. His pursuer eventually catches up and savagely kills him deep in the woods before hauling the corpse away. This violent moment abruptly transitions to a cheerful family of four on a camper road trip. They pull over for a quick meal break, where the father, Keith, fires up the grill and begins preparing steak, which he ends up serving undercooked to his son, Jeff. Jeff happily accepts it, unlike his sister Amy, who refuses to eat and decides to take a walk, leaving their mother, Kathleen, to justify her behavior. As the parents chat about it, Jeff takes out a couple of chocolate bars and starts counting them. Meanwhile, Amy finds a quiet spot, pulls out her hidden stash, and secretly snacks on some. Soon, their peaceful atmosphere is disturbed when two rugged locals arrive in a truck and introduce themselves as Billy and Vern. The intimidating pair claim they're looking for their cousin Melior, who went missing the previous night. As newcomers, Keith says he's never heard of Melior, but Vern keeps the conversation going, asking questions about their home. Keith holds his ground and maintains a guarded tone. Trying to lighten the mood, Jeff offers them some chocolate, but Vern suggests trading instead. As Vern enjoys his treat, Amy returns, and both men leer at her unsettlingly. They ask if she's seen Melior, prompting Keith to urgently tell Amy to wait in the van and apologizes for the rush. Eventually, the men leave without further incident. Keith and his family hurriedly gather their belongings and resume their trip home. However, not long after, they realize trouble is still looming. They come across the two men once again. The truck appears to be broken down, but Kathleen finds the timing suspicious, especially when she spots Vern carrying a shotgun. The men explain that the area's only tow service is closed today, and they plan to call someone from home to fetch them. They ask the family for a lift, claiming the family is passing through their town anyway. Spotting their discomfort, Vern suggests Keith take Billy along and leave him behind. Despite Kathleen's reservations, Keith reluctantly agrees, and they continue the ride with Billy on board. Billy tries to be engaging and even plays a game with Jeff, but Kathleen can't shake the unease. Billy describes his home, where he lives with his uncle and cousins, assuring them his family are all good people. He shares that his cousins have been running the household since childhood. The tone shifts when Billy picks up Jeff's notebook to steer the game, only to become visibly disturbed. It belongs to Melior, their missing relative. Jeff then launches an attack on the unsuspecting Billy. Shockingly, no one reacts with alarm as Billy weakens. It's revealed that the family had killed Melior the night before for reasons known only to them. Meanwhile, one of Billy's cousins is shown putting down her weapon after finishing her routine. The family goes on to dismember Billy's body and store it in their freezer, exposing their cannibalistic tendencies. Kathleen hands Amy what appears to be an eyeball, her favorite treat. Moments later, Billy's phone rings, and Keith smashes it. He reminds everyone that they need to hurry. They don't want to keep their host waiting. Meanwhile, Billy's uncle, known as Pa, is joined by his nieces Julie and Savannah for dinner. Their meal is interrupted by a knock on the door, and to their surprise, Keith and his family arrive. They tell the trio that Billy directed them here after crossing paths during his search for Melior. Claiming their camper broke down, they explain how they met Billy and Vern, who were out looking for their cousin. The hosts seem to buy the story and invite them in. Keith quickly asks if he can use their phone and is relieved to hear that only Billy had one. During dinner, Savannah raises a question. If they met Billy on the road, why didn't he drive them himself? Kathleen replies that Billy was on foot, searching with Vern, while Vern had the vehicle. Her response puts the hosts on alert, and they quietly reach for their weapons. But before anything escalates, a large figure named Big Mac walks in, throwing everyone off. Weapons are discreetly hidden. Elsewhere, Vern is still waiting by the road, trying to reach Billy, but his phone remains off. A vehicle finally stops, and Vern feels relieved, only to find it's the local deputy sheriff, who has a tense history with him. Vern apologizes and asks for a lift due to the cold, but the sheriff declines. Vern mentions a kind family from LA gave Billy a ride, and he'd be back soon. The sheriff leaves, unimpressed by Vern's condition. It's revealed Jeff's chocolate was drugged, causing Vern severe nausea. Back at the house, Jeff offers his candies, but Pa declines. No sweets are allowed in the household to protect their teeth. Still, Julie takes 2 from Jeff and hands 1 to Big Mac. Later, Amy excuses herself to use the bathroom, but uses the moment to stash her things. She grows uneasy when Savannah waits outside and unknowingly drops the eyeball her mother gave her. Despite this, Amy and Savannah bond effortlessly until Julie interrupts and calls them back to the living room. Pa announces it's time for the night's entertainment, and Savannah impresses everyone with her piano skills. Afterward, Pa shows Keith and Kathleen to their room, while the girls take Jeff to Billy's. Since rooms are limited, Julie suggests Savannah share hers with Amy, noting that she already hosts Big Mac. She adds that Savannah isn't particularly into men. Surprisingly, Amy shares the sentiment but keeps it quiet. Later, Savannah tucks Pa into bed but voices concern about their guests seeming too kind to be real. Pa jokes, asking if she thinks they plan to kill them all and burn the house down. In their room, Kathleen expresses anxiety. She never wanted to harm families. Her targets were always people who brought harm or drained society. But Keith reminds her of their mission, to rid the world of those without purpose, whom they call lowlifes. He explains they travel to remote areas to rescue the underprivileged. Kathleen, however, doubts this family fits that mold. Savannah had just been accepted into college. Keith later visits Jeff to share the plan and warns him to avoid Big Mac, whom he intends to handle personally. Meanwhile, a worried Vern starts trekking on foot to find Billy. Back in the house, Savannah is surprised to find Amy talking to her lover Blair on the phone, especially since the family earlier claimed they had none. Amy explains she was saving the battery. Meanwhile, Julie vomits in the bathroom from the tainted chocolate, and Big Mac also rushes out sick. Inside, Amy confides that her mom supports her, though her strict dad remains in the dark. As they bond, Amy's family puts their plan in motion. Keith ascends to Pa's room, while Jeff creeps behind Big Mac and launches a surprise attack, cutting the giant several times. Amy distracts Savannah with a smoke break, which helps her relax. Meanwhile, Jeff is eventually overpowered until Big Mac vomits, giving Jeff the chance to choke him by blocking his throat. Keith watches from the window and wakes Pa in a panic. After bashing Pa's head in, Keith scolds Jeff for improvising but secretly praises him with a reward, Mac's tongue. Amy hesitates to kill Savannah after seeing her courage and skills. As Savannah leaves to get her kit, she finds their camper nearby, despite claims it was left far away. Curious, she enters and discovers Big Mac's butchered body. Simultaneously, Julie finds Amy's dropped eyeball and is horrified. She runs to Pa's room and is met by Keith, who grabs her so Kathleen can feed. Jeff arrives just in time to witness Kathleen preparing for her first kill. But before she finishes, Savannah fires an arrow through her throat. With one enemy down, Savannah braces for more. Keith drags Julie, knowing Savannah will follow. She sneaks in through a window and finds Amy's phone, calls for help, but Jeff hears her. The sheriff, recognizing Amy's LA number, remembers Vern's story. Savannah subdues Jeff and bargains for her sister. Keith refuses and vows to kill Julie. Amy betrays Savannah and assists her capture. Keith cooks Mac's tongue and mocks Julie with it, even flashing Mac's severed arm. When the sisters reject the food, Keith retaliates, chopping Julie's thumb and threatening Savannah. But Savannah blurts out that she and Amy were intimate. Keith flips and a fight erupts. Savannah frees herself and stabs Keith's eye with a fork. He eats it. Vern shows up and shoots him, but Jeff intervenes. Savannah burns Jeff's hand and face in the kitchen, then suffocates him. Keith stabs Vern fatally. But Julie, now free, slashes Keith deeply. The sisters breathe a sigh of relief, until Amy stabs Julie. Savannah viciously fights Amy, smashing her face into a piano. She allows her one last chance to flee, but just as Savannah is about to finish her off, the deputy sheriff arrives and kills her. Misreading the scene, he assumes the locals attacked the tourists. He calls in medics and tells HQ the villagers murdered a visiting family. But then, strange noises draw him to the camper. And suddenly, the psychotic Amy, now free, sets the house ablaze. To the end, Amy driving off in the camper, darkness still pulsing through her veins.